Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, what the parks were like for the holidays, previews of the 2 new nighttime spectaculars, runDisney's returning,
a fire in New Orleans Square, Lunar New Year, and food and wine booths are both announced. We finish our trip recap and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Well, hello there. Welcome to our unbirthday party. For your safety, please be sure to stay listening with your hands, arms, feet, and ears inside the podcast. And please, do give Tag and Teresa easier trivia questions. Well, it seems DL Weekly is about to begin. Have a most wonderful time. Perhaps tea time.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of January 4th, 2023. I'm Teg Bushman.
And I'm Teresa Urban. Thank you to Olivia S. and Efren M. for becoming official weekly tiers on our Patreon. Our supporters get some pretty fun perks like DL Weekly swag, bonus content, and access to our Discord community. And a special thank you to Katie C., Ruben O., Gretchen D., and Vern W. for your continued support. If you would like some more Disney magic in your day, head on over to dlweekly.net/support to join the community.
Now, just to be clear, Vern W. is not your husband, Vern.
Not my husband, Vern W. Different Vern W.
Well, you've heard us talk about our great experiences staying at the Howard Johnson Anaheim, which we stayed there again when we were there for our December trip, and it was great as always. Well, we have partnered with them to offer our listeners some cool discounts. Weekly tiers can get 15% off their stay, and Magic Keyholder weekly tiers get 20% off. To take advantage of these discounts, head on over to dlweekly.net and click on the Howard Johnson logo. Be sure to use the promo codes on the site to get the discount that you qualify for.
Now let's get to the news.
New Year's Eve at Disneyland was a wet one, but that didn't keep guests away. Disneyland set up some temporary barriers to keep walkways open and separate from fireworks viewing, directional signage to help guests get around in the crowds, and more. For those of you who watch the entertainment on TV through Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve with Ryan Seacrest, you would think that the park was dry and full of famous performers. Well, that was not the case since most of these were pre-recorded. The rain did make for a great light show at midnight to ring in the new year. Of course, the fireworks were canceled because of the weather. Other than attraction wait times being very long because of Genie Plus reservations, the park was a pretty great place to be.
This was so cool. So we were not there ourselves, of course. We got this information from other sources, including Mice Chat, but the photos that they had posted, I don't know, the beams of light through the rain almost look like as cool as fireworks. It's unlike anything that I've seen at the park before, and it really, really lit up the sky in a completely different way. Thankfully, they did have all the live performances, or all the performances weren't live and that they were pre-recorded, because could you imagine? There's no way. I don't know what they would have done. They would have had to set up shop in the Hyperion Theater and just made do with what it was.
That's what I was going to say. Hyperion Theater, maybe.
But yeah, that'd be really your only thing. That was like a super, super downpour. But the lights, the colored light, there's a photo that they posted that has like a bunch of colored light beams all over, and it just looks so cool. So I didn't know this. I learned something new. Well, I learned several new things. But they do several countdowns at Disneyland. So they celebrate the new year when it hits Walt Disney World. They celebrate that at Disneyland. So there was like a 9 p.m. countdown. Also, they then do the countdown again for when it hits midnight in the current time zone. So when it's, midnight at Disneyland, they do a separate countdown for that too. So I did not realize that. So Mice Chat was saying that a lot of people, because it was so soggy, a lot of people did only stay for the 9 p.m. countdown and head on home, which I can't say as I blame them. I think it'd be one of these years, New Year's Eve at Disneyland, I think would be a really fun, really exciting way to ring in the new year. One of these years, add it to the Disney bucket list.
Well, we'll have to buy a ticket for it because key holders are all blacked out. I will say I have done New Year's at Disneyland before, and it rained for that trip as well. But also another thing, I don't see any reporting of it this year. If you were there, let us know. But when it's busy like this, usually they don't run the trams, because when I was there, you had to walk the tram route back to the parking ramp instead of waiting for the tram to come take you there.
Well, but that was also pre-park reservation.
That's
so
true.
They have a little more control over that now. So.
Now, What do you think of these really cool directional signs that blow up like Mickey?
I don't understand why they don't use these.
That's what
more
I was
often.
thinking.
That and the temporary walls. Like, I think both of these things would be a big headache and terrible to have to try and set up. But man, I'm sure they were incredibly effective for keeping guest flow.
Yeah, the temporary walls so often are poor cast members trying to make people not walk through something. Well, if there's a wall there, you're not going to walk through it.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that they were tall enough to kind of block from people stopping in the path to watch fireworks and stuff, I thought was really, really great. I do wish that they would use some of these things more frequently. Like when we were there in December, there were times it was very difficult to get around.
This is the first time I've seen these blown up directional signs. So it's an inflatable Mickey head, of course. And the one that they have a photo of shows, park exit this way, Tomorrowland that way. So basically when you're walking past the things that the cast members are having to kind of yell over and over and over again to help guests know which way to go to get where they need to be. This is something I could see being useful almost daily, if not at least on the peak season nights, to help with traffic flow and help people understand where to go. Especially, like, it makes extra sense for New Year's Eve, because that's what we're talking about right now. Because, right, Tag already mentioned pass holders were blocked out, so you had a lot of ticket, it was all ticket holders. So that means there was probably a lot of people that weren't as familiar with Disneyland as pass holders are. So it could be really confusing, especially when you're like, well, I want to go, to Adventureland, but they make you go like through Frontier. Like they make you go kind of weird. It feels like a very backwards way of getting places, but it's there, they're making you do it for a reason. So I could see these signs being super, super helpful.
Yeah. I am glad, by the way, that California is getting some much-needed rain.
Oh, yes. Well, during Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve with Ryan Seacrest, a short preview was shown of World of Color 1 coming to Disney California Adventure on January 27th. Encanto, Soul, Mulan, and Pocahontas scenes were shown in the short promo of the celebration. At the very end, there was even a Star Wars section, which will be only the second time Star Wars has been in a World of Color show.
Yeah.
Really? When was the first time?
I
know I just said that and it sounded like I was real smart and I knew, but I'm a fake fan.
I originally typed this saying it was the first time.
I thought it was.
And then I was like, So I Googled Star Wars World of Color, and back in 2016 maybe it was, whenever The Force Awakens came out, they had a section in there. And it was lots of flames, which I was excited about because I love the flames. But yeah, so I had to change it to say only the second time it had been it, because I thought I saw this happening in my head, that I was going to write it was the only time, and then you're going to be like, no, it was another time. So I was like, I better fact check this.
You had the opposite reaction.
But now I got the opposite reaction, so I feel pretty good about that.
Were you able to watch the clip? I did not. I'm upset with myself that I did not watch this live. I did watch the clip, though, but I didn't watch the New Year's Eve party live.
Yeah, I didn't watch it live either.
So what are your first impressions? I mean, it was a very quick little thing. They didn't have, like, the new music on. No. Or anything like that. But
I did think this scene with Moana, the first time I saw this, I thought that this was something they were doing with the water. And I thought it was so cool, but it's just a projection.
Yeah, so he's talking about there's a scene where Moana is interacting with the ocean. So the ocean kind of, like, comes up in a wave and, like, touches her hand.
Yeah.
It's a scene from the movie. But, honestly, you're going to laugh at me. The scene that I was actually the most excited about and I thought was done from what I could tell, because obviously this was the whole preview's like 15 seconds or something. It's a very brief thing. But the one that I'm most excited about was the Star Wars one, because I thought how they have the Millennium Falcon like zooming away looked so cool. It does look pretty cool.
I'm excited to see. You probably won't. Well, are you going to watch any online videos of this, or are you going to wait to see it in person?
Yeah, I think I will for that. I don't see. How do I want to say this? Sometimes with the nighttime shows, I don't feel like I'm as ruined if I see something ahead of time, because to see that on a screen versus experiencing that in person, to me is like night and day. And quite honestly, every time I've watched them ahead of time, before seeing them in person, I'm not excited about them. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look that good because you just can't capture that on a screen. I don't like to do it with attractions because there's so much. You don't know what's around the corner. I don't know. It's really probably the same, but for some reason it's more important to me not to spoil myself on attractions than it is for like parades and spectaculars.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to watch videos of this. I'm more excited probably about the fireworks show, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I don't know. World of Color has never been something that really like got me excited. Mm-hmm. I realized the World of Color that had that Star Wars segment, I'm pretty sure that I was there during when this was there. Never saw it. So who knows? Well, since the introduction of the Genie Plus service, it has been pretty much available to everyone. Well, the service sold out for 3 days in a row between Christmas and New Year's Eve. The service was even at a higher price point for those days when it did sell out. Guests were not completely out of luck. The individual Lightning Lane reservations for Rise of the Resistance and Radiator Springs Racers were still available. If you're planning on going to Disneyland during a busy time of year, make sure to purchase Genie Plus early in the day to avoid missing it if it does sell out.
If that's something you're interested in.
That's the other part.
So for me, I don't know. I feel like we're beating a dead horse here, but I still am not finding the value in this service for me personally yet. And I think it's cumbersome. It's kind of clunky. I feel like the one time I used it and the other times I've been with other people that have been trying to use it, I don't know. I feel like you're focusing too much on your phone. They have done a couple of things, I think, to improve it, so you can kind of push your windows back if you're not going to be able to make your reservation slot and all that stuff. But overall, you all know how I feel. I want them to jack the price on this sky high so that fewer people are using it, so that it's a better experience for everyone. It's going to be a better experience for those that are paying through the roof for it, because they're just going to be walking right onto those rides.
You would be happy.
But it's also going to be a better experience for the standby line folks as well.
You would be happy. One of my favorite things to do when I write the news every week is to look in the comments section of Mice Chat articles. And a ton of people in the comments there were talking about how it was the same thing that Universal had was $175 on the days that these sold out, and Genie was like $35 or something. And Universal still sold out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you, for sure. And I don't know why.
That's on top of a normal park ticket.
Yeah, I don't know why Disney's very slow to this, because Universal's had whatever their park pass, whatever their version of Genie Plus is. They've had it for quite a while longer.
Yep.
And they've had it at the higher price point the entire time. And obviously, it's working. They haven't brought the price back down. If people weren't buying it, if they weren't selling it, they wouldn't have it. They would adjust the price. So I don't know why Disney started low and is gradually working up, but who knows?
Fingers crossed for the future. We'll see.
I think the part of the problem may have been Max Pass, because they started with Max Pass, and so that had a lower price point. So maybe the powers that be that make these decisions felt that going from what was Max Pass? I don't even remember, 10, 15, 20, something like that. I don't even think it was 20.
It was 15.
It was 10. It was 10, and then everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's 15. So I wonder if because we were used to that 10, 15 point price point, they felt like they couldn't.
Disney, we talked about this a bunch of times. Disney had such an opportunity to do something different with the annual pass holder program. They had such an opportunity because there was no Fast Pass or Max Pass or any of that stuff for a while, that they could have redone it however they wanted to, and they picked this.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
but, I'm glad to have passes back. They could have also chose to not bring passes back at all. So it does make it more affordable for us to do more trips in a year than to not have it. So there are pros and cons to everything,
now we just need
right?
to get the airlines to...
Yes, we just need airfare Yeah, we just need airfare to calm back down a little bit there. Well, in the early morning hours of December 29th, a small fire broke out at the New Orleans Square train station. The fire was contained in the small building to the far right of the station, across from the tracks from where guests queue up to board. The water tower next to the building involved does not appear to have been damaged. The train opened with the rest of the park that morning, with scrims already up masking the damage from guests. No word on the cause of the fire yet, but good news, no one was injured.
Yes. So... this is interesting because I saw this on the morning of the 29th on social media and stuff of, there was this fire in New Orleans Square. And I'm like, oh gosh, where? What's happening? Oh no. And it was the train station. I was like, oh no, I hope that, because there's such a history with this train station building. And the fact that we were just there like 2 weeks before this, or not even, like a week and a half before this, is just crazy. But I'm glad that nobody's hurt. I was also impressed that they got a pretty good-looking set of scaffolding up by the Central Park. But I was like, this looks like their normal refurbishment scrim.
Yeah.
And people who went that morning said that it still smelled like smoky fireness, which it does when fire happens. So, but man, you probably would have had no idea. People probably would have showed up and been like, "Oh, it was just it's
they
under
must
refurbishment,
be repainting or something." Yeah. So the building that we're talking about, the purpose of the building is it's a break room for cast members. But thankfully, they were able to get this contained and that it didn't spread. Because I mean, that could have been. I mean, that's any spot in Disneyland. There's other things, right there. But there's a whole row of buildings basically right next to where this fire had broken out. So thankfully they were able to get it contained so that it didn't damage more things. But yeah, I'm just very thankful and very happy that no one was hurt.
Yeah. I'm looking at a photo right now of this building, and it is detached. For some reason, I in my mind, I remembered it as being attached to the rest of the station.
Sure.
But it is separate from that. So
there's a gap between it and the main building.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, this is the station. Like if you there's the break room building off to the right,
gorgeous.
But the main building has the Morse
telegraph.
code of Walt's opening day speech or whatever from it. So yeah. And then I thought about the water tower because that's like an iconic thing. So I'm glad that none of that stuff, obviously nobody's hurt, but I'm also really glad that these buildings survived. With Lunar New Year just around the corner, Disney has announced the food marketplaces that will be available this year. Returning are Lucky 9 Lantern, Prosperity Bow and Buns, Red Dragon Spice Traders, and Longevity Noodle Company. New this year are Bamboo Blessings and Wrapped with Love. The booths will serve a variety of Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese foods. Returning for the event is the Sip and Savor Pass. Lunar New Year kicks off on January 20th and runs through February 15th.
It's just right around the corner. The thing that makes me the most sad about Lunar New Year is I feel like this is such an amazing... I haven't experienced it yet, but it looks amazing to me. This looks like such a cool festival, just tons of energy and like happiness, and it just looks joyous, I guess. I don't know how to describe. It just looks so fun and so exciting. But it's so short.
Yeah.
The poor festivals, I feel like it needs to be extended. The problem is how do you extend it? Because it's coming in right after the holidays have wrapped up, so they need time to kind of reset to put this all together. And then right after this wraps up is when the Food and Wine Festival begins. So poor Lunar New Year is just kind of only going to have this one little sliver each year, but it just looks, I don't know what it is about it. It just, for such a short run festival, it's packed with tons of fun. Tons of flavors. Yum. I can't wait until we see what the menus are. And if any weekly tiers get to go experience Lunar New Year, please write in. Let us know what you thought of the food, the entertainment, the activities, all the good stuff.
What's interesting to me is I feel like we're getting to the point where these food booths, by the way, these food booths are doing a lot of work.
They're putting in overtime.
Do you think that they'll ever permanently install these booths somewhere and just have them rotate through various things?
I don't know.
Because it seems interesting to me that they keep like taking them off stage, putting them back on stage, taking them off stage. Because they're the same booths, right? They're just redecorated.
Yep.
I don't know. We're not going to be there for this event. There's no food listed yet.
It always
when it gets released,
so
we'll talk about it.
Though. So delicious.
Speaking of the next thing.
Well, shortly after the Lunar New Year celebration wraps up, Food and Wine Festival will be moving in on March 3rd. There are no new booths that have been announced this year, but all the booths from last year's celebration should be returning. Just like with the Lunar New Year celebration, the Sip and Savor Pass will be for sale, again offering 8 tabs that can be used for any of the 12 booths, plus participating locations throughout DCA. Do you want to know something funny?
You have it right here from last year.
I have my tasting passport right here from 2022. Why this has lived up here that long, but it has.
March through April. It's a month and a half.
Because I rated all the things, and when we talked about it, we went
You
through.
have a lot of 5 out of 5 things here, I'm seeing.
There was a ton of delicious food at that festival. I don't know, did you? Because this was, we experienced Food and Wine Festival in 2022 during the wedding trip. So you and I actually were vacationing separately. I don't remember did you have much time to do a lot of the festival booths?
No, all I did was I did the Snickers macaron, which I didn't think was as good as I had wanted it to be.
Apparently I thought it was delightful because I gave it 5 out of 5.
I think we did the pork belly. Oh, we definitely did this berry patch thing because that was a big thing that everybody talked about. Yeah, we were able to do some of these, but I did it with our exchange students and tried to kind of knock in through some of these as quickly as possible. But
because they kind of did DCA the day of the wedding, and you guys did mostly Disneyland, I think, for the rest of the trip.
But then the problem we ran into was the fact that for some reason the ordering, like we did this last time, where you could order everything at one booth, you couldn't.
Oh, sure.
And because it was getting towards the end, they didn't know what they were going to have in stock or whatever. So they're like, you have to go to each booth and buy stuff. I'm like, oh, really? So we bought a little bit less. But I don't know, man. DCA is like the food park.
Central. Mm-hmm. I'm here for it.
Weekly tiers who have been missing the Run Disney events on the West Coast, well, we have some great news for you. Run Disney is coming back to Disneyland in January of 2024. The event in 2024 will take place over the weekend of the 11th through the 14th and include 3 endurance events, a challenge, and more. With the return of Run Disney to Disneyland, the return of the Coast to Coast Race Challenge has also been announced. Registration for the West Coast event starts on February 7th for Club Run Disney, with general registration open to the public on February 14th. For all the details, check out the link in our show notes.
I find it so interesting that you're signing up for a January 2024 race in February of 2023. Anybody could sign up for this because you've got tons and tons of time to train. And again, there's going to be a 5K, a 10K, and the half marathon. So all sorts of different events. In the past, they haven't announced this specifically, but in the past, there's been, if you do the 5, the 10, and the half marathon, if you do all 3 events, you also get another kind of like bonus medal. There's other ones. Run Disney is not, I'm not well versed in all of the things, but the one thing I remember, there was like a Goofy challenge and a Dopey challenge if you did multiple races throughout a weekend. I don't remember if those are specifically Walt Disney Worlds or if maybe one of those was Disneyland's, but there was basically, you get like the Coast to Coast, you can also get a bonus challenge medal if you do all 3 races. So yeah, so what do you think? You signing up for the 5K, the 10K, or the half marathon?
No, I do want to do one of the half. I do want to do one of the runs at Disneyland at some point.
Sure.
Because the fact that this takes you backstage in some places and does some things like that is really exciting.
I don't remember. So Vern did the Walt Disney World Marathon and definitely did did backstage. Disneyland though, I don't remember what the routes are because I do remember way back, when this was going previously, that the half marathon actually kind of does stuff in the city as well as
it does, yeah.
Because it's not just, you're not just running laps around Disneyland. Oh, so the 5K is Disneyland and DCA.
Yeah.
You start in Disneyland, end in DCA. These are past maps that we're looking at.
The Tinkerbell Half Marathon goes backstage and comes back around Harbor and then over to
that's interesting. You don't run through Disneyland very much. You do a lot of running through DCA.
You start at the hub, it looks like.
Yeah, and then you run to Toontown, and then you're out of the park, and then you go along, what is that, Catella? Harbor. Along Harbor for a while until you pop into...
And then you're backstage at
That's going to have to change, because that's Avengers Campus now. That backstage area might be different.
Oh, yeah. See, here's another one. You start here and you go right backstage and then come through. Mm-hmm. Huh. That was the 2015 5K course. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the maps show, but that would be something I'm interested in. I also think it'd be cool if I ever got into this so much that it would be cool to do the coast-to-coast one where you can get it for both places.
Both in a year.
And I heard the Disney World one, there are people there that walk.
Oh, yeah.
And they just peruse everywhere.
It's very different. We talked to Vern about this.
We did.
It's a very different experience. It's not a hardcore race. So you're not going to get your best, most fastest time ever. It's more about the experience than it is the time. There is a time limit, so you do have to be faster than whatever the cutoff time is. But
isn't the time limit pretty generous?
Yes and no, depending on what your pace is. But
I walk pretty fast.
I'm very excited to see this coming back.
Me
for
too.
sure. Well, this year will bring some new perks to the Magic Key program at Disneyland. New items are coming to the Magic Key Terrace, like barbecue short rib sliders, yum, and a mint julep cocktail. Key holders who purchase the Disney 100 popcorn bucket will get refills for just $1.50 each through February 12th. A new Disney 100 print will be available for pickup, and booking Walt's Main Street Story guided tour between January 9th and January 26th, you will receive a commemorative button. A Magic Key exclusive Pandora charm will also be available, in addition to new PhotoPass magic shots between January 9th and January 19th.
Okay, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, because none of this... literally the only thing on this that I'm very excited about is the popcorn bucket, and all of these things are very limited in the beginning of like January and February. Like, I think it'd be cool that you could purchase the Disney 100 popcorn bucket and then get it for the whole 100 celebration for like $1.50. That would be like really exciting.
I think what Disney should do for key holders is kind of like, how do I want to say it? Like when you go to your local theater, you can buy a bucket. And the bucket's, I don't know, like popcorn bucket. It's an exaggerated price for the bucket, and then you get cheaper refills each time you're bringing your bucket in. So I feel like I'm not sure why Disney hasn't done something like that for key holders, where it's you pay a large upfront cost for this bucket, but then you get cheap refills throughout. So I don't know what the right
popcorn is so cheap to make.
Well, and I don't know what the right price point would be. I was going to say, is it because the popcorn carts are too busy, so they don't want that extra traffic? But every time I walk past a popcorn cart, it's not super nutso unless they have a crazy collectible popcorn bucket that everyone's trying to get their hands on. But just normal flow of popcorn, like, I don't know.
So I have a weird one for you.
Maybe eventually that'll happen.
How much would you pay as a key holder?
Me?
How much? No, hold on. It's more than what you think. How much would you pay if they offered a program that said you pay X amount of dollars and you get free refills for the duration of your key that year?
I think they should do that with not only popcorn but soda.
Yeah, but how much would you pay for that?
And better yet, cold brew. Sign me up for the cold brew.
Well, the cold brew is not going to happen. Nobody gives away free coffee. But
people give away free coffee.
Yeah, but not like unlimited free coffee. Anyway, for popcorn, how much? Because we bought popcorn when we were there on this last trip.
Yeah, I'm stuck on this cold brew train.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is popcorn now? Like
it's like $4.50 or something.
$4 or $5. I don't know how much I would pay. So popcorn usually gets me once per trip, if that.
But if it was free, you'd eat it more.
Yeah,
I would.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
I think I'd pay like $50 to $100 if I could get it for free the rest of the year.
Free refills?
Yeah, like I just bring my bucket up and they just fill it up.
$100? Ooh. I don't think
that
I'd
stuff
pay
is
that
so good
much.
because I'd love to just snack on it while we're in line and stuff, like we did when we were waiting for Storybook Land this
You'd
last
have
trip.
to be eating quite a lot of popcorn to make
I could
your
share it with
$100
you.
bucket worthwhile. There,
I'm just
sir.
saying. I said $50 to $100. Now soda.
Okay.
Now soda. They should do like they do on cruise ships. Is they offer you the one price and then you just kind of do that. You know what they need to bring to Disneyland? They need to bring the meal plan like they had in Disney World for a while. They still haven't brought that back since COVID.
I don't
See,
think I would
Nathan
pay.
said name the price. He's a popcorn lover.
I don't know if I'd pay that much for it. I like the idea of paying for like buy the bucket for, I don't know, $25 to $30 and then it's like $1 refills or something like that. Versus your idea of I'll pay $100 for.
Well, I think what slows down the popcorn carts is the payment part. If I could just show you, if I just had the bucket and you were able to like fill it,
you'd have to have the bucket and show them your AP or your Magic Key. Stuff.
But that would still be so much faster. They just fill your bucket and you're done.
That's true. I don't know. I'm thinking about this drink.
Okay, what about the
too.
cold brew? How much would you pay for like an unlimited cold brew? They'd have to charge a lot for that because these cold brews are like what, $5-6?
They're not that much more expensive than a popcorn, though.
Yeah, but the cost to make the coffee is more than the popcorn.
I don't think it's that terrible.
Like
either.
a 50-pound bag of popcorn kernels is like $30.
I don't know what I'd pay for my frequent flyer cold brew.
Anyway,
but yeah, I think they should make that program. Disney, I hope you're listening.
They should do something. So, you know what they could do?
Flyer cold brews.
You could sign up for your Magic Key thing, and then as an add-on, you add on these different things.
You go.
And you could pick. You could pick the cold brew. I could pick the popcorn, the soda, whatever.
There you go.
Well, the new spectacular Wondrous Journeys coming to Disneyland for the Disney 100 was previewed in a behind-the-scenes video on the Disney Parks blog. In the video, music from the new show and concept artwork and testing for the new show was previewed.
I was such a geek and such a Disney nerd. Did you watch this?
I did.
Oh, it was so good. It shows you nothing, really. Really not that much. But what I thought was so cool was seeing them in the parks, testing out they were showing the design, some of the designing process of the projections. And then they're in the parks and they're testing it on the Main Street buildings and testing it up on the castle. And then you're in the recording studio and you're listening to the ensemble record the music. So cool. It was such a cool behind the scenes. Well done, Disney. Honestly, I watched this one first, and then I watched the World of Color 1 preview, and I had much higher expectations. And World of Color 1, that preview kind of fell on its face for me.
Sure.
But in comparison to this, because this just showed way much more, and my Disney nerdiness was
I like
just
how
all
Disney
excited
can get
about
you
this.
so excited, but not showing you anything.
I know. That's true. That is true.
I'm also, something that I have to get used to with this.
How cool.
Something I have to get used to, though, that is going to take me a really long time, is for some reason the way Wondrous is spelled is not how I think it should be spelled. It doesn't look like it's spelled correctly. So it drives me crazy. Oh, wait. I never noticed that before. Did you see that they just had a thing? Representations rise into frame, which means these come up out of the building, probably. Oh, and then here, see, I didn't pause this before.
There's all sorts of super cool stuff.
There's 3D modeling with the fireworks going on with it.
It's so cool.
Oh. See,
There
I
was
didn't look
something
at
else
that
I
before.
just saw that looked like a... Where was that
They
thing?
show off another one here in a minute.
I don't know. It looked really cool. And again, to see the process of how they kind of create and just a glimpse of the process of how they create and put these things together was just really, really interesting to me.
Yeah, the way they do these drawings of Main Street and the projections of... Do you think this doesn't mean it's 17 minutes long? Because didn't they say
only
it was
13.
13 minutes?
Yeah, it's only 13
what's up with
minutes
that
long.
crap? I want longer than 13 minutes, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
excited.
I want a long show.
Well, there are some changes coming to a couple popular stores in downtown Disney. Wonderground Gallery and the Disney Home Store are both closing on January 9th, but will return with some changes. The rumor for the Wonderground Gallery is that it will be moving into the old ESPN building, which will give it way more space and finally do something with that empty building. The Disney Home Store then may expand into the Wonderground Gallery space next door. During the closure, much of the merchandise from these stores will be available at other downtown Disney locations.
I knew you'd be happy hearing that this was going to maybe open in the ESPN zone building.
You just give the Wonderground Gallery as much space as the Wonderground Gallery wants. So cool.
I'm just so glad that they're finally putting something in the ESPN building, even if it's a rumor, because nothing is in there right now. And this space, they have such great things in this store, so it's really great that they're going to maybe have some more space. And the Disney Home Store is another one that has just a ton of merch in such a tiny, and it's that L shape. It's so awkward.
It's a very every time we go in there, it's shoulder to shoulder people. It feels like, and I'm always nervous as heck because, like you said, it's very tiny and it's a lot of breakable things. So I'm very nervous that I'm going to accidentally bump something off a display and break something. So I'm excited for them to have an expanded space as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be really nice, and I'm hoping if they have more space, that means that they will have more merchandise.
Yeah,
because it'll be nice to see even more variety.
Well, and something that that was mentioned and I thought made a lot of sense was, we've been to Walt Disney World, we've been to Disney Springs. They have that kind of, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a co-op. It's a big open space that had all sorts of kind of almost booths of different Disney branded things. There was the dress shop was in there. Co-op. The Marketplace Co-op. They had the dress shop was in there. Wonderground was in there. So kind of that more, it's still Disney merch, but it's not just T-shirts with the castle paint, screen printed on it. It's just different stuff. So one rumor thing or one thought was, what if they did that with the ESPN building and kind of had more, expanded into, yes, Wonderground's going there, but then expanded into more shopping opportunities as well, because that's a really big building.
It is a big building.
And there's no way that Wonderground's taken over the entire thing.
I'm still waiting for them to convert the Star Wars Trading Post into a restaurant.
Yes.
Well, at long last, the Indiana Jones adventure will be getting the TLC it deserves and has sorely needed for quite some time now. A new animatronic snake was spotted by various online sources, which we spotted ourselves when riding the monorail our December trip. This means that at the very least, we'll have a fixed snake in the attraction. Currently, the refurbishment is scheduled to last from January 9th to spring of 2023. Hopefully this is not like the winter 2022 or whatever it was for the submarine voyage. This is quite the length of time and is a good sign that things will be much better when it returns.
I'm very excited about this, and I think maybe we did an Instagram update after we spotted the snake. This was like on my, we need to ride the monorail solely to see if we can.
Not because the monorail is cool or anything.
Not because the monorail is cool. We need to ride the monorail to see if we can spot this snake. And we did, and I was freaking out about it. You know, the thing I was thinking about after, I was shocked that we were actually able to see it. Disney, right? Don't they usually keep these things under wraps pretty well? And we went, it was a couple of days after, like, someone had reported that they saw this, and we were there a couple days later, and it still was, like, out in the full sun. At the very least, you think they'd put a tarp over it so it wasn't just getting, like, beat on by the sun all day.
I wonder if it got rained on during the New Year's time.
That's hopefully he moved inside.
Maybe they're trying to distract us with this. If they look at this thing here, they won't realize all this other stuff we're doing over there.
Maybe. I don't know.
It looks cool though, like considering
it looks like it's a big upgrade from the one that we currently have. Because the current one, all it used to be was it just kind of like kind of lunged. This one, maybe it looks like maybe it's gonna do more.
Okay, let's make our bets now.
Oh boy.
So for bets, what do we think is going to get fixed?
Oh, the final scene for sure. It has to.
The backing up the ball.
The walls need to start moving. The ball needs some help. And please dust that Indy Anna Jones animatronic off. It drives me nuts when I see an inch layer of dust on the brim of his hat. What else? To me, that's the biggest thing that needs to be addressed.
Yep.
And the snake. And we know the snake's getting addressed.
Yep.
What are your wish list things?
Those are my two big ones that I think have to be addressed. It doesn't bother me like it bothers some people about the room where things. I do want the audio to sync with the story we get. So like in the beginning when we went on the last time, they said that we went in and it was like earthly riches or something. Mm-hmm. But at the end, it was like, oh, if you drank too much from the Fountain of Youth. I'm like, well, that doesn't match the door we went through.
Sure.
So I want them to fix like the continuity issues because it used to be fine. Mm-hmm. I want them to just make it overall more reliable because one of the things is it breaks down a lot.
Yeah.
But to me, if they make it more reliable, if they fix the syncing issues and they fix those two things, the snake and whatever, I'll be happy.
The one thing I do think needs some help are the two... I'm going to call them dark rooms because I've genuinely forgotten what's supposed to happen in those rooms. I think one of the rooms...
One is just dark.
It shows you there's like ants on the wall or something. And then the other room, there's like rats. And
the first room has always been black.
Yeah, the projections on those rooms have been lacking.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of dark rooms that maybe you can kind of see, the
one was supposed to be rats falling into the truck.
Yeah.
Because you could hear them going thud, thud, thud.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently in the Tokyo version of this attraction, they have this really cool smoke ring effect that's in one of those rooms that it's like it like looks like it breathes fire at you, but it blows a smoke ring at your Jeep. That would be really cool to add to one of these dark rooms. But I can tell you from us being in there, when you're zipping around those two rooms, you think that they feel big and you're making all these big turns, but really it's just really tiny.
Yeah.
You're in this tiny spot.
Which is fine, but I just want them to do a little plussing in those rooms. I feel like it's a blank canvas for them to do more with.
Yeah, Corrine, I'm with you on the...
that's true.
On the Around the Globe segments, because I have a whole 50 Years of Imagineering audio version of this attraction that goes through like the entire segment, which is long.
I love the safety spiel on that
I do
segment.
too.
And the fact that you're in that room for so long, you used to only hear the bumpy. Once, maybe twice if you were lucky. Now you hear it like 10 times before you're out of that room. So it has gotten better since, because do you remember when we went right after?
Oh, it was real
like
short.
The first time we were back, it was like
put on your seatbelt, put on your seatbelt,
yeah,
put on your seatbelt.
It was real short. So I'm glad that they did expand it out a little, but yeah, you're right. I think they should expand the safety spiel a little.
In that room?
No. No, I could not.
I think after a while you just kind of zone out and don't
The other
hear it.
thing, this is like my total like wish for the stars, shoot for the stars, hope. I would like to see them fix the first room where it appeared that you were going into the different rooms instead of the one.
Oh, that is one of your things. Okay, because I said that I didn't care about that.
I've never experienced that.
Sure.
So I think it'd be cool if they could get that going again.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it never bothered me because I didn't know what I was missing.
Sure.
But now that I know that that's supposed to be more than what it is, I'm curious.
Well, with that argument, bring back the People Mover. Bring back the Skyway.
I would be all for that. Yes, I would. The Skyway looks like it would have been really
The Skyway
cool.
was really great to get across the park when there was a parade or something. Because you could get on in Tomorrowland or get on in Fantasyland and go over the parade route, and you're on the other side of the park, basically. I hope so, Jill.
Yeah, I hope so, too. I don't know if they can ever completely fix that issue, but hopefully. Well, the Magic Shop on Main Street has been run by Houdini Magic since 2009, but was recently purchased by Vanishing Inc. The new owners are looking to make some changes to the Magic Shop, which current employees of this location are optimistic about. When completed, the store should be more impressive both inside and out.
I was worried when I saw this because I was like, they're not going to change the Magic Shop, are they? Because I feel like it's pretty iconic. Honestly, looking
iconic,
at this photo.
But the thing that's sad is people overlook it, or if you're in there, people just use it as like a hallway almost, and I don't think people don't appreciate the Magic Shop. So I'm really happy to see it's going to get a little boost.
I don't know what they're going to do. It's a very small spot, but I will say I have never noticed this featuring Houdini Magic part of the sign. I never look at that.
I hadn't either.
It is a tiny spot. I've been in there before, and you can only have like 5 or 6 guests in here, and that's it.
And there's, they were talking, so Mice Chat did the article for this, and they were talking about how when Houdini took it over, they decided to put a lot of like books in there in addition to the tricks and stuff. So that's, I don't know very many people that go to Disneyland to buy a book about magic. I'm sure there are people that do, but the thing that I find so cool about the Magic Shop is the cast members and the interactions in there, and the people doing, showing you how to do the tricks and doing tricks and getting that interaction and that experience. And it's up close because, like Tag mentioned, it's not a very large space.
Who did we talk to that worked in the Magic Shop? We interviewed somebody.
Lord, right there.
Bruce Edwards. Yeah, because we talked to Bruce Edwards, who worked in the Magic Shop, and I remember listening to all of his fun stories.
Fascinating.
And all I was thinking was, man, we need more stuff like that in the Magic Shop. Some more fun. Maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe that's what this new company will do.
Pilots, we've detected some producer questions near Jakku. Report to your DLWeekly vessels and make the jump to hyperspace. The 7-7 Squadron will provide support during your trivia mission. Good luck, and may the Force be with you.
Hello and welcome to Trivia Land. Welcome to the first trivia of 2023.
Woo!
At least you got the year right, unlike me.
It's about time, right? I've had enough time to think about it. Are you ready to get started with your new year of trivia?
We're ready.
We'll see.
It's a blank slate. It's all new.
Okay, I'm ready. Apparently, Tag is not ready.
I mean, I'm never ready.
Well, let's see how it goes. Our first question. In Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue. Many of the Child Detection Agency figures are refurbishments of what?
Superstar Limo.
Superstar Limo, but they were the
paparazzi?
Paparazzi and some of the characters.
Celebrities.
Yeah, some of the celebrities.
Test your memory from a couple episodes ago. Is it there? Number 2, in that same attraction, when Randall gets beaten up by Boo, one of the patterns he changes into references another resort attraction. Which one?
I don't know. I feel like the only thing that's iconic like that would be like the wallpaper from the Haunted Mansion.
You think it's Haunted Mansion?
Wallpaper, yeah.
I was going to say Small World.
Oh, that could be a good one too.
I'm like seriously thinking about what colors, like some of the things I remember. He's striped, so maybe that's like the Cheshire Cat at one point because it is pinks.
I don't know.
There is kind of like a purpley one.
There are a lot of them.
I'm going to say Small World.
Small World, okay.
All right. Question number 3. How many doors are flying through the vault where Boo and company are trying to escape? I hope you've counted them all.
It seems like more like how many actual doors or how many do you think are there?
How many doors are flying through?
I'm going to say 17.
I was going to say it's not. I feel like it's not too many.
Because there's mirrors.
Yep, lots of mirrors.
Spoiler alert.
I'm going to say 25.
All right, the final regular round question this week is submitted from listener Jill M. In the attraction's last scene with Boo, what is clipped onto her? Or at least on her backpack, one of the two.
What's clipped on?
Yep.
Is it like a Disney pin or something? Like, I feel like it's going to be something ridiculous like that. Do you know what it is?
Ooh, no. What's clipped on to...
What
I didn't even know she had a backpack. That's how terrible.
The last scene
the
with
last
her.
scene.
Yeah, I don't remember if she has her backpack or not in that one.
What is the last scene?
It's like they're going to take her home.
Oh.
She's in Sully's arms, and he's like, it's time to get you home, or something like that. I mean, she's got her little monster costume on still.
She
Yeah.
does.
I don't,
Pinned or clipped?
It's clipped on her.
I don't know why that makes any difference. Like, it's going to, like, it
yes.
must be this.
You know what would make sense? The sock.
That's
A
what
sock.
I was thinking, too, was the sock. But
So I'm
I
gonna
don't
say a
know.
sock.
I don't know why it would be, because that was a different monster, but we're going to go with it, because
Sock.
I got nothing else.
Go with it. And your last question for this week, our bonus question, as the holiday season is wrapping up by the time we get to another episode. We had a couple more from Stacia S. about the Christmas tree on Main Street. So I'm looking for 3 numerical details of it.
Well, this will be interesting because we just went on the tour that talked about the tree, so let's see if we remember.
How much
I don't
do you
have
remember?
any numerical details, though.
How tall is the Christmas tree?
Oh, no.
How many lights are on the
no.
Christmas tree? And how many ornaments are on the Christmas tree?
I think.
I
wait.
feel like they definitely told us these things. I
They
feel like
did. I was just
I
gonna say.
feel
She
like-
said it's this tall and it has this many lights
Yep,
and that many
yep.
ornaments.
she must have taken the tour and taken notes, which is what I wish I would have done. There was so much good information in that holiday tour.
By the way, I want to send a shout out to our tour guide. Michaela is a wonderful.
She was so fun.
She was like a Disney princess. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. She sounded like, she did. She sounded like a Disney princess. She really did. Okay.
I think it's like it's taller than the castle.
I feel like it's in the like 60s, like 67 feet for some reason.
How tall is the castle?
I have no idea, but I'm going to say 67 feet is how tall I think the tree is. Ornaments? Man, that's hard. We did learn that the tree uses forced perspective.
I'm going to say it's 80 feet tall.
You think it's 80 feet tall?
Yeah, 80 feet tall. I think it has...
I'm going to say 1,300 ornaments.
I'm going to say 4,000 lights.
4,000 lights.
And I'm going to say... How many ornaments did you say? 1,300? I'm going to say... I want to look at a picture of the tree to get an idea.
Now.
I can
No
look
Let's
at the-
count the individual lights on it,
I'm
right?
not counting individual
No
lights.
looking,
I'm
it's
just
just
curious
what's
what
on
the
your-
ornaments
what's on your
sizes
brain.
are.
They're all over the place. They start like this big, like as big as your head, to I don't know how small the small
Honestly,
ones
I don't
are.
even think I have a picture of the Christmas tree.
How do you know?
Oh, there.
I
It's
have
in the
lots
background.
of Christmas tree.
Oh,
pictures.
God. Hold on. No, that's... Oh, God. I'm going to say more than 4,000 lights. I'm going to
I
say
think
like...
it's a lot of lights, like 6,000 is what I'm going to say.
I'm going to say 10,000 lights.
Okay, 10.
And I'm going to say it's got...
We went from 4 to 10.
Yeah, I know. That's a big
I'm going to
jump.
say it's got 2,000 ornaments on it.
2,000 ornaments, all right. Teresa, what are you thinking?
Oh, I did 67 feet, 1,300 ornaments, and 6,000 lights.
Okay. What an exciting count We'll have to wait for the answers, though, until after this week's discussion topic.
Well, this week for our discussion topic, we were talking about our Disneyland trip that we did right before Christmas. I know it's the New Year as you're listening to this, but we went and spent, like our last episode, we went to the studios and we did Imagineering. But now we're going to talk about the holiday tour and our 3 days at the park with all of our food fest foods and everything like that. So where did we start?
Well, some of you might be able to pick up on some very fun background noises throughout this. We did have a chance, and we are currently, as we're recording in the parks. We're sitting and looking at the Haunted Mansion, the trains off to the side, and of course we've got the rest of the wonderful French, what is that called? Oh, the French market is also near us too. So we've got all sorts of fun sounds around us. So we hope that you enjoy a little taste of Disneyland at the holidays. So Sunday, I don't know what was with us, but we had very long days, all days, which was great. And also not great because, right, long days make you tired. But I feel, did a really, really good job of getting the most out of all of our Disney days. And somehow kind of did so accidentally, wouldn't you say? Because we didn't really go in each day with a full plan, especially the first day. We just kind of went with the flow.
Well, I feel like this whole trip we kind of went with the flow. We didn't have too much stuff that we planned. The very first day, like you were saying, we didn't even spend like on our phone hardly at all. I don't think I used my phone for anything Disneyland related for most of the day because I had my Magic Band to get me into the park, which was nice. But yeah, it was definitely a Disney wins took us kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We didn't get Genie Plus or Lightning Lane for anything. And I think we've had a really enjoyable trip so far.
I think so too. And really, overall, with it being the last couple of days that Magic Keys can be in the parks, with it being so close to the holidays, I mean, is it busy? Sure, but I don't think it's any more busy now than it has been during any of our last trips. So that's kind of a nice feeling. Take and I were talking about this because I've never experienced the holiday time at Disneyland without reservations, so I don't know what it used to look like, but I had, of course, like many of you, read stories, seen photos, heard others' experiences, and this feels much more enjoyable than what other people have had experienced in the past pre-reservations, because it sounded almost like you were shoulder to shoulder constantly pre-reservations. Now, are there the busy pockets? Of course, there's always the busy pockets, but for the most part, you can still knock out a ton of stuff, even without Genie, just as long as you're doing it right. So, day one, we actually sat off to the side and watched the madness of rope drop happen as we were waiting in line for Jolly Holiday. There was a cold brew there, the chimney sweep cold brew, that I really wanted to try. That was one of the holiday offerings. So we rope dropped. Actually, this is kind of a thing. This is a theme. All 3 days, we rope drop some sort of food item, or started our day with some sort of food. So Sunday, our first day in the park, we started at Jolly Holiday. But after that, we got into the attractions, and we were able to check off a ton of the big ones right away. First ride of the trip, Indiana Jones. Next up was Pirates, and then after that was Haunted Mansion. And all of them, I'd say we probably only waited 10, maybe 20 minutes tops. So it was beautiful, just beautiful.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. Indy wasn't looking in terrible shape, I have to say.
No, the boulder was rolling.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad. Pirates, we were very happy to go on and have a really great experience because something that we've talked about before on the show has been the chase scene that was very loud last time around, and that was all working perfectly.
Well, and for a while there, they were nowhere to be seen. Those scenes were empty, and those animatronics and those turntables were gone. So they were able to go through a little refurb on their own, get the TLC they needed. All of them were working. I can't remember the last time I was in that scene with all of the women chasing the pirates working. So that was really exciting and really nice to see it, like Tag said, working, but also quietly working.
Yeah, so it was very enjoyable. Haunted Mansion, great as always. And then we took our last ride on Splash, which had no line. It
wasn't really a planned last ride, but it made sure that it was the last ride. We weren't sure if we were going to do it. We knew at least once, but thought, well, maybe twice. Who knows? We'll see how we feel. Well, that ended.
Yeah. We got on a boat with all adults, and we were in seats 1 and 2. I made Teresa ride in the front.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because both of us got drenched. It was very, very... I think it's the most what I've ever gotten on Splash Mountain.
The water came up and over the front of the boat and dumped fully on my head. not once but twice. I don't know if there was anything that was dry anywhere on me. It was ridiculous.
It was a lot of water.
It was ridiculous.
Teresa said as we got off, not going to miss you.
Yeah, they said, like, seal it, like, see and ever splash or something like that. Because I was just like, nope, over it. Like, it was so bad. It was almost not even enjoyable because we were just so, like,
well, it didn't help that now we should be better at this because we're from the Midwest now. But it was what? Middle 60s?
Yeah, that part wasn't as bad. I just didn't like the feeling of damp. Like the damp feeling, and of course we're wearing, it's cooler out, so we're wearing jeans. It's not like we're wearing quick dry material.
Yeah.
I had my jacket on, which was just like
soaked,
dripping. So then I spent a good like 20 to 25 minutes on Main Street in a sunny spot, had my jacket laid out on a space so it could dry in the sun, and I stood in the sun for a while. And that helped a lot, just standing out in the sun. However, Tag wanted to go get his next food item.
I wanted to go get the Jolly Holiday special, which is, of course, the tomato soup and the grilled cheese sandwich. Yep. So I did that, and Teresa was waiting for Coke Corner to open up at 11. So now, mind you, what we've already talked about was all before 11 o'clock, so that was really amazing. So I waited in line quite a while for Jolly Holiday. Sandwich was great. As usual, Teresa went over and got, we shared one of the...
So we got the butterscotch soda from Coke Corner, which both of us were looking forward to quite a lot. Like, really excited about this. I'm glad we did not buy two because we weren't really that big of fans. I was expecting there to be a stronger and sweeter butterscotch flavor, but it was almost... Maybe the ratio was wrong on the one that we got but it was very soda water flavored forward with just this tiny hint of the butterscotch and sweetness. I was expecting more of the butterscotch flavor, so it wasn't what I was expecting, so I was let down by that one. And then I also got the spicy beef sandwich, which was a holiday special at Coke Corner. And that was kind of a letdown, too. Was not spicy. I don't know why spicy was in the name. It had peppers on it, and it had a cheese sauce on it. But if spicy wasn't in the name, I would not have called it spicy myself. Teg, who does not like spicy, would have been totally fine with a sandwich.
Yeah. In fact, I think everything... later on, I ended up having something else with spicy was in the name, and I did not think it was spicy at all either. Mm-hmm. So it was... I don't know who's... I think my tolerance for spice is very low.
Yeah.
And I feel like whoever's tasting these things and putting the spicy label on is like even lower than me.
Well, but I mean, some of the things marked spicy though, and we'll get to other things that I had that were marked spicy, were like had a good spice level.
Yeah.
It wasn't like too much that you couldn't eat it spicy, but not like it was there. Not too much heat, but just enough heat, if you know what I mean. Well, after lunch, we decided to take a trip over into Fantasyland, went and visited our good friend Thaddeus Toad.
Now, we rode Toad because we knew that the hell room was warm and we were cold.
We wanted some heat from being damp and, So we went and saw Toad, went over to Storybook Land Canal Boats. That is like a must.
Also,
must do.
Because it was in the sun.
Must do during the holidays because of all of the tiny little decorations. It's so adorable. And actually, talking about it now, if we have time to do it tonight, I think it'd be fun to see all the miniature decorations at night.
Oh, yeah.
To see if, they light them up and all that fun stuff. After Storybook Land, we went over and saw Alice, spent some time shopping, and then after that, we were just kind of trying to kill some time before our holiday tour. So then it was, after all that, it was time for our tour, our holiday tour. We got to go over to the VIP grounds. That's where the tour started, and stepped off from there. So, Tag, what was our first stop on the holiday tour?
Well, first of all, it has been a long time since I've taken a tour, and I had forgotten the tour, how quaint and amazing the tour gardens area was. But also, our tour guide, I swear, could have been a Disney princess.
She was fantastic.
She was fantastic. She had the voice of a Disney princess. She was pretty amazing. For those of you who have not taken a tour, they give you a wireless headset that you can hear them very well, so you don't have to worry about having to be close or not being able to hear what she's talking about. You have volume control and everything. There is some music and stuff that played through as well. So really enjoyable. I like the technology. Thought it worked out great.
I do want to give a quick shout out. Our tour guide's name was Michaela. So thank you so much, Michaela, for such an amazing tour.
Yeah, she was great. Well, first off, we got the shock at the beginning because the very first place she took us was out of Disneyland and across the Esplanade over into DCA, which Teresa and I looked at ourselves and we said, I thought this was a tour that was just going to happen inside of Disneyland. But we got to go out the main gates, across the way, and it was so funny because I was thinking to myself as we went across the Esplanade, how are we going to get this whole tour group of 20 people into the park? Well, we found another tour hostess who was able to, we wish them a happy holidays, and they opened the gates for us, and we were able to go in, and we got to go over into DCA, and we stopped a little bit along the street of Buena Vista Street and learned about some of the shops there and some of the kind of a little bit of the backstories of some of the proprietors of the different shops and the decorations and stuff that they had out on Buena Vista Street.
We also stopped over at Trolley Treats and spent a great deal of time talking about, of course, the famous Disneyland and Disney Park, well, the famous Disneyland candy canes that are also available in DCA. So we talked about that, and we talked about the process. I told Tag after the tour was done, Michaela had so many facts and numbers and so much great information. I wish that either I would have been able to have a recording so I could have gone back to pull some of those numbers and facts back out, and or taken notes during it to pull some of these things. So she was telling us how many lights and ornaments were on the tree in DC, the Main Street tree, how many lights were on the castle, all sorts of really cool, really interesting things. But the one thing that did stick out to me and that I did remember was about the candy canes and the candy makers making them. So we know that it's a process, right? We know that these candy canes are very, very special. But one thing that I did not know was that part of the candy cane making process has to do with the temperature of the candy making room. The candy room needs to be between 105 to 110 degrees while the candy makers are making these giant Disneyland candy canes. It was very very specific because if it was too hot, it wouldn't crystallize properly, or if it was too cold, it also it wouldn't crystallize properly if it was too hot or too cold.
The chemistry of the candy cane would not work.
So now whenever we then, spoiler alert, we're fast forwarding, the next day when we're watching the candy cane makers work in the morning, I'm looking at their outfits now, knowing how hot it is in that room, that it's between 105 and 110, and I was just this makes I just couldn't wrap my head around it. It was just nuts. That's hot. So anyways, that was the one big fact that fully stuck out in my brain.
Yeah, so after the Trolley Treats, we came back up. We stopped at one of the other shops. We learned a little bit about Hanukkah because
Julius Katz.
Yeah, Julius Katz is Jewish and celebrates Hanukkah, so we talked about that. Then we hopped ourselves back on over to Disneyland, where we continued our tour over there. We talked about... What did we do first? Did we talk about the Christmas tree?
So when we came back over to Disneyland, we spent some time in Town Square. We talked about the candlelight processional. We walked over, stood in front of Walt's apartment, and at that point talked about the Christmas tree in Town Square, a little bit of the history of that. She pointed out some of the different ornaments, even pointed out that the tree itself is a use of forced perspective, and if you look at the bottom of the tree versus the top of the tree, the ornaments at the bottom of the tree in Disneyland are bigger than the ones that are at the top of the tree. And then we also talked about Walt, since we were right there in front of his apartment. And one of the things, I don't know if I knew this or not, it sounded kind of familiar but not 100%, was we got to listen to some clips of audio from different, interviews and such that Walt had given over the years. And one of the stories that we got to listen to Walt tell was that of a Christmas with his family, and he had gifted Lillian a puppy. And how he gifted her the puppy was he had the puppy in a big hat box, and she thought Walt was gifting him a hat, and then she opened it and found a little puppy in it, and he said something about that puppy became her child, and she just was so bonded and loved this puppy so much. And so that was actually... that story of Walt and Lillian and the puppy as a Christmas gift is now known by all, because that's how the Lady and the Tramp movie started. That's how Lady was gifted to her family, and that was because of a personal story from Walt. I thought that was really cool. It's like I said, it sounded like a familiar thing, but I don't know if I actually knew that or not.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. So we went up Main Street. We ended up stopping outside of the holiday shop at the end of the Plaza Point holiday shop and talked a little bit about that.
And it was not just like a tour like this is a holiday shop. You can buy all sorts of ornaments. Yes, that was included, but they also talked about the proprietor and the storyline of the holiday shop as well. So it's very, very cool.
Yeah. So after that, we headed over to Adventureland, where we took a small break so everybody could use the facilities or get something to drink. Of course, they stopped right next to one of the nice little snack carts, so it was convenient for everybody. We ended up having a little bit of time. We took some pictures with our tour guide, our tour host, and kind of mingled around a little bit with some of the other guests that were on the tour with us. And then when we came back together for the tour, we talked about how the Jungle Cruise skippers and stuff had come together to decorate some Christmas decorations on top of the queue for the Jungle Cruise, because a few years ago they used to do the Jingle Cruise, but they are not doing that now. So that's kind of the only decorations you really get with the Jungle Cruise.
After Adventureland, we made our way over to New Orleans Square, spent some time chatting about the decorations and such in New Orleans Square itself, then headed on over to, of course, Haunted Mansion Holiday, because it's not a holiday tour if you're not going to talk about Haunted Mansion Holiday. Again, all sorts of cool facts and fun tips about Haunted Mansion Holiday. We did not go on and ride it, but we just got to kind of talk about it from outside of the attraction and kind of just... It was cool. It was very cool. After Haunted Mansion Holiday, we actually moseyed on over to Frontierland, talked about the holiday decor, and she pointed out all the different types of decorations, and specifically in Frontierland. So she was pointing out the different types of garlands that are used there, and kind of talked about the history of, why is this garland on the Golden Horseshoe and that garland is over on Rancho, that kind of thing. So that was really fun, really informative. Something, again, I just thought it was kind of a color scheme thing, but it's actually, they're trying to make it as accurate to what they're trying to represent. So I thought that was really interesting. After that, we continued moseying on through, but we then ended up in the hub.
Yeah, so we went to the hub, like Teresa said, and we talked a little bit about the castle and the decorations and everything for the castle.
Again, this is where I wish I had notes or was able to jot stuff down, because she was giving us all the facts as to how many lights and all that kind of stuff. Very, very cool.
She also talked about the star that used to be on top of the Matterhorn for a long time.
And something that I didn't know, so we just actually had a trivia question with the star atop the Matterhorn, because that was basically they've turned the Matterhorn into a giant tree. I did not know that they also took the Monstato House of the Future house and put a giant bow atop it to make it look like a giant present under the tree. I need to find a picture of this now. I've seen photos now of the star being placed on the Matterhorn, but I want to see the House of the Future with a giant bow on top.
So after we left the hub, we walked on down to It's a Small World, where we were able to ride It's a Small World Holiday, which was what? No, you were shaking your head. I thought you were saying no.
I was thinking again, I was thinking again all the facts on how many lights.
Yeah, she had a lot of facts about how many lights were on the facade, about the fact that this was the 25th year of them doing the It's a Small World Holiday, and that there are
13.
Did you fact check?
I'll double check it, but I'm almost positive.
Okay. Well, that there were a number of 25s hidden throughout the attraction, so of course that was something fun to try to figure out as we were on the attraction. Some of them are really easy, and some of them are very difficult to find. Teresa and I got lucky on a couple.
I think we found 12.
12.
For sure 11, possibly 12. We weren't sure if one of them, I think it counts, but it wasn't.
It
wasn't the number 25. No, it was the clock that was on one hand pointed to 2 and one hand pointed to the 2 and the 5, but it didn't actually have numbers on the clock face. So I don't know. I feel like it counts, but I guess I don't know if that's it.
So our tour group took up 2 full boats and went through the attraction, which was lovely as usual. I love the additions that they have. This is the first time that we had ridden it since they added the dolls in there that had wheelchairs, which I thought was a really great, subtle thing. Also, something I want to point out, the last few times we've ridden it, the hula dancers have been kind of spotty, but man, there were 3 of them, and they were going to town, man. They were hula-ing their little live...
They were shaking their little hips as fast as they could.
Yeah. We got off, I asked the tour guide... We got off and I asked the tour guide because I thought that we were 10 minutes from the lighting ceremony. So I was like, do we get to stay and do that? And she said, no, we have to get to the parade viewing area because that was also only 10 minutes away.
Yep.
So we had to go over and to do that, which the parade viewing area, by the way, was great. It's that area right by the Alice restrooms. It's kind of that little area of the parade route between the Matterhorn and the Alice attraction and the castle. That's kind of, there's an area that people can watch, but there's one whole section that's just for the tour guides or for the tour groups, and this was a really amazing experience.
It was cool because, like Teg said, this was an area that was reserved just for us. Basically front row, unobstructed. Also, the cool thing about watching the parade in that spot specifically is there's only guests on one side, so you get tons and tons and tons of character interaction, because it's not like they have to split their time between the left side and the right side of the street, because there's only the one side of the street. But something that I did not realize came along with this. We knew that there was a reserved viewing area for the parade. We knew that we got to ride It's a Small World holiday as part of this tour, but I did not realize all of the goodies that you get along the way. So we'll back up. When we were at Trolley Treats, everybody in the tour was given a cake pop, a holiday cake pop. You could either eat it and enjoy it during the tour, or you could hang on to it. Teg decided to enjoy his during the tour. I decided to hang on to mine.
Later, I hung on mine for a while.
Yeah, and I enjoyed mine during, I think it was the fireworks when I ate mine. But then when we got to this reserved seating area, we each were handed a big cup of hot cocoa to sip on and enjoy during the tour.
Which was great.
A small gingerbread cake
which was also good.
And enjoy. A Disneyland tumbler, kind of it wasn't Tervis brand, but it looked like a Tervis tumbler, like a double insulated tumbler, probably 20-ounce size.
It was big.
And then we also were given a very cool holiday tour, like a pin for the holiday tour. So it got to the point they're handing us all this stuff, and I joked with the guides, I was like, do we get a bag too? Because we quickly ran out of hands. So I was just blown away at how many goodies we were given.
And that was a mistake because we had so much stuff. So I ended up shoving it in my little hoodie pouch, and that was
it worked though.
It did, but your bag was full, my pouch was full. It was crazy.
That was a really nice surprise.
We didn't mention it too, but we also had lanyards that they gave us with the holiday tour on it. That's how you distinguished yourself as somebody who was taking the tour. So of course we got to watch the parade. The parade was great. There was a segment we were laughing at because Teresa and I have gotten to the point where for some reason when we watch parades, things fall off of the parade float. So a piece of mail fell out of the mail float, and one of the guys who was one of the skiers ended up picking it up and skating around with it for a while until he could get it to whoever he needed to get it to. But it was kind of I turned to Teresa, I said, what is it about us watching parades and things falling off of the floats in front of us?
We probably just noticed. It probably happens all the time, but it's just something that we happened to catch and just happened to notice. But I felt bad because as soon as it happened, I saw it, and I got one of the cast members over that was kind of in that area. There was the tour guides, and there was also a cast member kind of overseeing an area to make sure that guests didn't sit in front of it because it was in front of doors, so I'm sure it was they need to keep a pathway open. So I kind of flagged her down and had her come over, and I said, there's a piece of mail that just fell, and it's in the middle, and I knew that there was going to be the snowflakes that are on skates, and then the skiers that are on skates, plus all the dancers, so I didn't want someone to get hurt and slip. So they didn't know what to do either because it was just far enough down that it wasn't like they could quick run out and grab it and run back. But yeah, thankfully one of the very talented parade formers, one of the skiers, was able to swoop down and grab it. Nobody was hurt. Nobody slid. So after the parade concluded, we headed over and grabbed dinner over at the Plaza Inn, shared one of the wonderful chicken dishes.
First of all, this was funny because we were trying to figure out what to eat, and I went to use the restrooms that were right there, and I came out and I smelled the fried chicken, and I said, we should do Plaza Inn for dinner.
Because
we were being indecisive for dinner. So went to Plaza Inn, like Teresa was saying, got the chicken dinner, we shared it. She got a salad, side salad.
I got a side salad and ate one of the pieces of chicken. It was perfect.
It was really good, as always. Then we decided to go up and get on the train, and we took a grand circle tour, of course, around the park. It was at night, but it was really nice and relaxing, and just kind of getting towards the end of our night. It was just kind of nice to have that moment with the train, and it wasn't very busy on the train or anything like that.
It was very nice.
Afterwards, we went and decided to do the Jungle Cruise, which was great. We had a good skipper, as usual, who was taking us through a nighttime tour of the Jungle Cruise. There was almost no wait either. We walked almost right onto the boat.
Yep. And then after that, we decided to go over and visit our friends in the Tiki Room, which we were pleasantly surprised. So the Tiki Room, we'll kind of go. There's a theme here. So any place during the summer that you kind of use as an escape from the heat because it's got great air conditioning, we have now learned is a great place to escape the cold in the winter time because they have the heat cranking. So the tiki room was like wonderful. It was so warm and cozy.
To the point that it was painful when we left.
And then after the tiki room, we went onto Main Street, got our spot for the fireworks, and were able to enjoy the holiday fireworks show.
After that, we went back to our hotel room because we were just really tired from the day, and we felt like we had gotten a ton of stuff done and didn't need to try to cram a bunch more stuff in. We knew that day 2 we were going to have our day at DCA, and that Teresa wanted to try for a candy cane again. So how is this different than last time's candy cane situation?
So the difference this time is I didn't feel any sort of sense of rush. Tag had zero interest in getting a candy cane, so this was like 100% a me thing. But I got it. I get it, because if you go to Disneyland and you ever see the candy cane line, it can be crazy and it can be hectic and it can be stressful to try and get in time to get a candy cane, or you're waiting in a line to then get like scanned into their mobile wait list to then be called back later. So I told Tag I wanted to get there early, kind of assess the candy cane line situation, and then make a game time decision based on that, because I didn't want to waste a ton of time trying to get a candy cane, because I've already gotten to enjoy one. Well, we walked in kind of late too. It was probably like 7:40, 7:45. I looked over and the line was nothing. The line felt incredibly short. So I said, Tag, I'm doing it. I'm hopping in. I'm committing. I'm hopping in. I'm getting my candy cane. So I hopped in line. I tell you what, I was in that candy cane line from the moment I entered to the time that they got me scanned and I was walking on with my day, 15 minutes. That has to be some sort of a record. So I was in the candy cane line from 7:45 until 8 a.m. So we even didn't even miss. Actually, it was a little before 8 a.m. because we sat and hung out, waited for rope drop after the candy cane. So did that, got the call back about
from last year.
Yeah, did that, got the call back at about 10 a.m. And then to our surprise, when we were checking back in to get our candy cane, we overheard cast members saying, "Oh, we just the list, like we're full up for the day now." So they closed the queue at 10 a.m. So it was like some happenstance. I don't know why there wasn't the normal crazy candy cane rush. It was Disney magic. It was perfect. It was amazing. So grabbed the candy cane, got our locker so I didn't have to worry about accidentally smashing it into a million pieces later.
After we took a photo of you sniffing it.
Yes. It smells so good.
Yeah,
good.
We put it in the locker. Then we went over and went to the cappuccino cart because Teresa wanted to get one of her first cold brews of the day.
So this is what we did while we were waiting for the candy cane.
Yep.
Got my coffee at the cappuccino cart, headed on back to check out Soarin', rode the trolley because we hadn't ridden the trolley since it came back.
Which that ended up being a whole thing too, because we only went partially through Hollywoodland, and then they told everybody they had to get off because they were picking up a special guest, and Teresa wanted to find out what the special guest was. I wanted to creep
and see who the special guest was.
So I ran over and got the hot chocolate churro from the Terran Treats cart, and the lady told me, she goes, "This is spicy. Do you still want it?" And I said, "Well, if it's too spicy, she'll eat it." And so I took it, and I came back, and I ate it. I took a couple bites out of it, and it was not, there wasn't even really a hint of spice. There was some cookie crumble that went on the top. That was a little bit spicy, but not like crazy.
Yeah, so if you're not a spicy person, it's the red-colored crumbles that is the spicy part. I bit a piece of one off, and it's one of those slow builds. Like, you don't think it's spicy, and then the longer, after you've had it, the more the heat's building in your mouth. So it was a definite no for Tag. But for the rest of it didn't actually, I don't know if you didn't have enough pieces fall on the churro or what, but the churro itself was not spicy at all. It was great.
Thought the churro was really good, but Teresa, I think, made fun of, was it? No, it was the other one you made fun of me on.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so who was on the trolley? Inquiring minds want to know.
So at first, when I was standing there waiting, they let a little kid on to go pull the horn and honk the horn. I was like, well, that wouldn't have been why they booted all the guests off the trolley. So I waited there a little longer, and of course Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy all boarded the trolley, and they did a loop around. They came down towards us, went to Guardians, looped, and then turned around and went back up. I think they were being dropped off at the fountain over by Carthay Circle to do some meet and greets.
So, of course, we went into the Animation Academy, which is where I posted on social media Teresa in her happy place spinning around in there. We actually didn't end up drawing anything this trip. We looked at the board and everything, but never ended up going back over there to do any drawing. Then, of course, that's when Teresa had her candy cane that we had to go pick up, so we did that. And then it was about time to start going through all of the Festival of the Holidays food.
My goodness.
And we decided that one of the things that they do, and last time we did it, it was kind of hit or miss, but this time it was totally fine, that we just ordered everything we wanted at the first booth we came to, so we just took that receipt to the other booths to pick up the stuff.
So, from Holiday Duets, we tried the pork belly adobo again. This was on Tag's must-try list. They did have this last year.
Which Teresa made fun of me because I ended up buying a second one a little bit
right
later.
Away, instantly.
And she was like, you can't do seconds. And I said, why not?
There's so many more things to try.
Well, there was a drink later on that I wanted to do seconds, and Teresa would not let me.
Nope. And then over at A Twist on Tradition, we tried the curry mac and cheese. This had cilantro oil and crispy garbanzo beans on it. Also, the lox and everything, nice bagel nachos. I gave both a 3 out of 5. To be fair, the lox and everything nice bagel nachos, I'm not a salmon person, but even without, even the flavors without the salmon was just not something I would do again. I
loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, the curry mac and cheese also okay, but didn't knock my socks off. So
I didn't care about the curry mac and cheese, but the salmon nacho things with the bagel, the lox, was very good.
The winner at A Twist on Tradition was the guava melon lassi, which was a non-alcoholic drink. It was so good.
It was very good. I told Teresa to get a second one, but because of her own rule, she would not get it again.
Nope, I wouldn't get it again. I said there are too many other drinks for us to try.
Also, for those of you who have been listening for a while, Teresa, how many pair of dices did you have this trip?
None.
How many times did I ask you?
Probably 5.
Yeah, because she's like, there's too many other things.
And
I'm like,
so many drinks on my list. So many beverages to try. But the guava melon oh my gosh, so good. So it's made with guava nectar, rock melon syrup, non-fat yogurt, and honey. But
it was very good.
The whipped cream it said it was garnished with a cinnamon whipped cream was what was on top, because the whipped cream had some flavor to it, but not overpowering. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was light but still creamy. So delicious. So delicious.
I usually, when Teresa gets these drinks, I don't, I think they're good, but not like, oh my God. This was an oh my God.
It was so good. So that was a 5 out of 5. Best in show.
So at Visions' Sugar Plums, we had the chocolate bourbon flavored tart made with Twix cookie bar pieces, which had layers of caramel and chocolate bourbon flavored mousse made with Twix cookie bar pieces. I thought that this one was too bourbon-y for me.
Yeah, you had me finish it. I enjoyed it. How did I kind of describe the quote-unquote too bourbon-y that Tag's talking about is it tasted like how bourbon smells. So you didn't have any of the burning of the alcohol or the heat, as Tag calls it, but you had a lot of that flavor. It was creamy. It was yum. So if this is something you're thinking of because it has the name Twix, there's just a couple of Twix pieces on top. It does not taste like a Twix candy bar.
Yeah.
But I thought it was delicious. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 4.5.
You did.
Out of 5.
Then at Winter Sliderland, we got the Cherry Mango Punch, which was a cherry syrup, mango and peach nectars, and lemon juice garnished with frozen peach.
Very frozen peach. It actually never thawed. It was so frozen. But I thought this was good. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. Tag thought it was a little... It was a little tart. But I thought it was... to me, it was tart in a good way. It wasn't overly tart, but it wasn't overly sweet either. It was a nice balance.
So at Grandma's Recipes, we got the Impossible meatloaf and mashed potatoes with classic gravy and crispy shallots.
I was really impressed with this. I think I gave this a 4 out of 5. The texture of the Impossible meatloaf was really good. I liked the flavor, and the mashed potatoes it came with were yummy too. I could have done with a little bit more seasoning to the to the meatloaf itself, but overall, very enjoyable.
Yeah, I tasted it. I think this was at a disadvantage because my mom makes a really good meatloaf that has some honey ketchup stuff on it that I really enjoy. So to me, it was just meatloaf, so it wasn't anything special.
But it
tasted like meatloaf, and it's Impossible.
The thing that was really interesting was if you didn't know it was Impossible, you wouldn't have known it was impossible. The texture was amazing.
100%. So at favorite things, we had the churro toffee cold brew latte, which was
best in show.
Joffrey's coffee and tea, Mexican coffee, sugar, cinnamon sugar, vanilla bean, and almond milk garnished with churro syrup, whipped cream, and chocolate toffee crumbles.
This was so good. We forgot to talk about what it was that I got for coffee that morning, so I'm going to back up just a minute here. So in the morning, we forgot to talk about what I got at the cappuccino cart. I tried the caramel toffee horchata cold brew. I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was enjoyable. Would I get it again? Sure, but there's definitely other ones that I liked better. One of the ones that I for sure enjoyed better was the churro toffee cold brew. So this one was at the festival last year, and I think I had it twice last year. I enjoyed it so much. Yeah, 5 out of 5.
Oh, you were able to get something twice?
So good. Twice, different days tag. That was the rule. You can't just get it back to back, different days. Anyway, so 5 out of 5 on that. Super delicious if you haven't had it before. Moving on, we went over to the Paradise Garden Grill later for dinner and grabbed the chicken tinga arepas, as well as the mango tres leches dessert.
Oh my God, that mango's tres leches was like the best thing I've had in my life. It was so good.
It was so creamy. So there was like this layer of pineapple on the bottom. Oh, it was, I don't even know, like melted in your mouth.
It was so good.
So good. So a tres leches is a cake, but it's a cake that's been soaked.
It's a wet cake.
It's a more like wet, kind of more spongy. Oh, so delicious. The frosting on there wasn't too, I don't know. You know how frosting can sometimes be a little much? It was so creamy. It wasn't overly sugar. So good.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too sweet. It
One
was
of the
sweet,
highlights.
but it wasn't too sweet. Like, I thought it just had a great balance of everything.
One of the best things that we had, for sure. I also was really impressed with the chicken tinga arepas. That was yummy. So it was, what else did it have on it? It had avocado, it had a layer of refried beans, and then it also had like some lettuce and some cheese on it too. Yum. Super good. The flavor and how all the different things blended together, delicious. We were joking that we were like had accidentally saved the best for last, because those two things were two of my favorite things we had from the Festival of Holidays.
At the same time we got that, we happened to walk by this seasonal festival cart, and we got the bean and cheese pupusa with a side of curtido and tomato sauce. This thing looked really good. I also, at the last second, Teresa made so much fun of me.
I did.
At the very last second, I looked at the top of the cart, and they had this can, so I thought it was a soda. It was a Calidad sparkling agua fresca with prickly pear pomegranate, and I was like, oh, this sounds amazing. I'll try one of those. And then I heard the total, and I was like, that seems like a lot. And Teresa said, you didn't think that because it was so expensive that it was alcoholic? And I was like, I didn't think about it. I was in a panic. And
it was like...
It was okay.
It was it was $10. I'm like, you thought a soda was $10? I was laughing so hard at him.
You know,
so what did you think of it, though?
It was okay.
$10
it was still, it was
soda.
fine. It was still a little hoppy to me, and I don't like drinking beer. I'm a cider person.
Seltzer water the seltzers can have a little bit of a bite.
Yeah. I'm just going to finish out the things that are in this book here. I know that they're out of order, kind of our day.
Which is fine.
But later on, at the Sonoma Terrace, we had the Colombian empanadas, which I thought was pretty decent.
Those were really good. Also one of the best things I had all day.
They're Colombian-style beef empanadas served with ají verde and cabbage, salad tossed with cilantro dressing, and escabeche.
So good. So good. I only used the sauce. I didn't go with it was like a cabbage salad, like a slaw.
Yeah.
I didn't really go with that. I had a bite of it. It was, I don't know. I didn't feel like it needed it. If I would have put everything together like on top of each other, it probably would have been delightful, but we were eating and walking with this one, so I did not have time to kind of do it all up. But the salsa, the verde sauce that came with it, and the empanada itself was just, oh my gosh, it was so good. The seasonings that they had for the beef inside, the outside of the actual empanada itself, oh, delicious. Like I said, my favorite thing. Honestly, I'm going to be real. We started the festival, and my most favorite thing was that first drink that I had, the lassi, and I was like,
which was still really good.
Well, and like we had used all our our last few tabs were on the arepa and the empanada, and I'm so glad that those were the last things we tried, because they were some of my favorites. I was not getting a good feel of the festival at the beginning, though. There's nothing really knocking my socks off.
Yeah, last year it seemed like there was a ton of good stuff. Well, anyway, after we ate all the food,
all of the food,
we sat and recorded over by Goofy Sky School. Hopefully, you all heard that on the last episode that we posted. Then we decided to kind of walk along and just kind of let the Disney winds take us. So we headed over. We ended up on the Incredicoaster, which is fun as always.
Always fun. Always have to ask for the first row. I don't know what it is about the first row, but it's just so fun.
It seemed even more airtime this time for some reason because we were both like screaming in glee.
I just
because
really
of it.
enjoy like being able to like be seen over the edge and like I don't know, and I just think you get a better view of the tunnels and the decorations and the figures in the tunnels because you seem to go a little slower through the tunnels than if you're at the back of the train. Anyway, so then after that we headed over, did Little Mermaid. We went over, did the bakery tour, the Boot and Bakery tour. Tag picked up a Thai iced tea.
Oh, this Thai iced tea. So again, I'm not usually like a specialty drink person around the parks. That's Teresa's kind of thing.
It is.
This was amazing. You liked it too. It was very good.
Enjoyable.
This was the thing. All right, sorry about that. We had to move to a different spot. Okay. Yeah, so the Thai iced tea was really, really great. I highly recommend it. It was very good. So as we drank that, we went over and watched the Toy Soldiers, which was a lot of fun. They had a really energetic.
Ton of fun.
It was just the three of them, but it was amazing.
Ton of fun. We're gonna kind of flip through because, of course, we did all sorts of fun stuff. We throughout the rest of the evening went over and played Midway Mania. Went over and took a swing with Mater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you call it. Kind of whip around. That ride's so fun. Same thing with Luigi. We went over and rode on Luigi's Joy to the World. They're such like simple. I know they're more kid attractions, but the like flinging around is just so much fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We went and watched Mostly Kosher, which was one of the entertainment like groups that were playing around, and they're always a lot of fun. My only complaint about all of the entertainment that we watched was they're usually anywhere between like 18 to 20 minutes per like performance, and I felt like it, just like 10 more minutes with these people would have been really appreciated because I felt like we were just getting into their groove, and then it was like, the show's over.
They're so fun. Some of the other entertainment offerings that we watched were the Mistletones, Tina and the Sounds of Celebration, and also let me double check, I think it's Blue 13, and also the Blue 13 Dance Company. All of them fantastic. Highly recommend if you have a chance to see any of these performances, take the time and do so. Like Tag said, they're not overly long. They're like 20 minutes, so it's not too much of your day, and it's just so fun and something so different. And really, honestly, you get to learn stuff about these different celebrations as well, which is just so fun. And the music is like fun and catchy. The performers are all like super energetic, very friendly, and like you just walk away feeling like lighter and happier after seeing them. It's just wonderful. I love it.
That's one of the things that Disney's so good at, right? Just having a bunch of entertainment around, and it was nice to have these performers that, outside of the holidays perform probably in other venues or whatever, but they're brought into Disney. To end out our night, we watched World of Color, Season of Light, which I had never seen before, and I don't think Teresa had ever seen before.
No, that was my first time, too.
For me, it suffers with all of the things World of Color suffers from is it didn't really have a storyline, but it was nice to look at.
The kind of overall storyline for this one was just kind of holidays, and so there was a lot of different holiday music that was then paired with different scenes from the movies and from like some of the Disney shorts that had to do with holiday celebrations and all that. So it was really fun. Like there was a section with Goofy decorating his house and getting electrocuted by his Christmas lights. There was a section with Donald and Daisy kissing under the mistletoe.
Sure.
Mickey was decorating his tree.
I will say,
Frozen holiday special scenes, all sorts of stuff.
This show used the lights on the Incredicoaster the best. It was amazing.
The fun wheel. We did not know that the fun wheel.
Around.
Oh yeah, sorry. The pal around. I didn't know that there was like spotlights on the pal around that would like move and synchronize around and have different colors. That was really cool.
And because we were cold, One of the best things that happened was they did do the fire effect, which it was only on for a second, but man, it felt so good for that second. But,
it did.
So that closed out our night at DCA, and then we got to today, which is Tuesday, the 20th of December, as we're recording this. And we slept in a little bit. We decided it was our last day of our trip. We have to wake up tomorrow morning early to leave and get on the plane and fly back home anyway, which, by the way, is very cold, and apparently a big storm is supposed to come in. So we're going to leave the comfortable temperature of 66 that it is right now in California and go back to that. But we started, of course, with Teresa. We went over to the Red Rose Tavern, and Teresa picked up the holiday cold brew.
Yeah, so this it's a nice cold brew. I believe that they had this last year. It may have been called like the eggnog cold brew. But it's good. It's enjoyable. Again, it's one that I obviously would get again since this is the second year that I've gotten and enjoyed it. Still, the Churro Toffee cold brew is my top from all of the different holiday cold brews that are offered right now, but still very good. It's probably, I would say, the holiday cold brew of the ones I tried is probably number 2, like the number 2 slot.
Sure. Of course,
followed by the chimney sweep would be number 3. And then I'm going to say that the one from the cappuccino cart was probably my least favorite.
Okay, well, we went over it because I wanted to make sure I did a breakfast Ronto wrap, so we went and did that. And then I tried to play the Bounty Hunter game. Now, I want to give a PSA to everybody. So I was so excited because Teresa was saying the day before how... Like, I record her doing a lot of cool stuff because she gets so excited about things. And she was joking with me that she wanted to record me humping around DCA since I made the comment that DCA could go away.
I was looking at her Instagram like, oh, there's something. I'm like, there's 2 things about me in a row. I said, Tag, you need to get excited or do something specific. He's like, well, what does everyone know me for? I'm like, well, you're grumpy about DCA right now. So we were. She
wanted to get me grumping around DCA. Yep. But anyway, so I said we should do the Bounty Hunter game because I was really excited for that. So I have my Magic Band on, and I went over and I was having some trouble getting it. Then I didn't have the Play Disney Parks app and was trying to figure that out. Well, it turns out the battery in my Magic Band was dead. And the reason, now I had charged it before we left, but just a PSA for everybody is... you actually have to turn it off after you charge it, which I did not know. So there's a button on the back. You hold it, it beeps, it'll shut off. So just make sure you do that. Or don't do like me and don't bring a charger. You should have brought a charger. So after we had the failed attempt of that, we decided to go on Winnie the Pooh.
We did. We went over to Winnie the Pooh. While in line for Winnie the Pooh, we decided to grab our brand new pack of Where in the Park scavenger hunt cards and went through them and we're trying to see, if there's anything we recognize or if there's anything we spotted. So then once we got out of the line, we went shopping in Pooh Corner and happened upon one of the cards in the pack. So then we decided, you know what, let's just keep going with this. And so we kind of played, how many things did we find? Probably like 5
or 6 by this point.
Yeah.
But so Teresa was very good at it.
We're kind of playing it in the way that we looked at all the cards, have kind of an idea of where we think some of the things may or may not be, and we're just keeping our eyes peeled. So it's not like we're solely playing the game. So it's kind of like a little best of both worlds.
We did have a fun one. We were in New Orleans Square, I'll say. I don't want to give it away. But we were in New Orleans Square, and we were just standing there, and Teresa was like, oh, and pointed because there was one of the things near us where we were. Same thing happened later when we were in Frontierland. I had a moment like that of like, oh, this is one of the cards. So
exactly.
Very fun game. We definitely need to do it in DCA in the future. We just did a little bit in Disneyland. We had the beignets,
and well after that we went on Pirates,
right?
And we had a very interesting experience on Pirates.
Yes.
Just as we were about to disembark our sailing vessel, we got stuck. The ride went down briefly. It was not an in-show exit situation. We just kind of hung out by the parrot and the pirate map, in that queue area there for 10-15 minutes probably. So that was a little interesting. But I told Tag, I said, at least it's daylight out here, so it's not like you're just sitting in the dark. I don't know if they actually turn the lights on in the show buildings or not. I'm going to assume yes. So part of me was sad that we weren't stuck in one of the scenes and that we're just kind of out in the queue area, but it was still a unique experience. First time that had happened for me anyways. But
what were the beignets that we got?
Maple bacon beignets.
The maple bacon sauce was good. I thought that they tasted just like regular beignets to me with the dipping sauce.
The sauce kind of made the beignets there.
Between the 2 beignets we had that were maple-ish, which was the Ralph Brennan's and the one here at the Mint Julep window, I would say the ones at Ralph Brennan's were better, in my opinion.
Those were so good. That was some sort of, what was it? It was like a pecan.
Maple pecan. caramel something.
Pie, something. Oh, it was
good.
So good. So good. And then I also grabbed the seasonal mint julep, which was a hibiscus mint julep, which was a blend of hibiscus, mint, and a hint of lime. I thought it was nice. It was a little more tart. It almost kind of reminded me of like a pomegranate flavor. It wasn't. There wasn't any pomegranate in it, but that's the best thing I can think of to describe the flavor. It was a little tart. I enjoyed it. Tag thought it was a little too tart.
Too minty.
Oh, that was it. Too minty. It was too minty.
Then we hopped on the train because there was no wait. Unlike right now, what we're staring at that has a very long wait.
We were on a mission.
Well, Teresa was very excited for this mission, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We rode the train over to Tomorrowland. We got off and got on the monorail, which I was asking to go on a couple days ago, and we had kind of forgotten about it, whatever. But we went on the monorail. Great as always. And what were we looking for, Teresa? What did you see?
Specifically, we were looking at the backstage area of Indiana Jones. I took video. We'll try and post a photo of this for you if you haven't already seen this. But right outside one of the big back doors is a new animatronic snake for the ride. So we know the snake is going to be fixed and replaced with
really
the refurbishment.
Too.
It looks different. It doesn't it looks, how do I want to say it? It looks more more lifelike colors.
Yeah.
It's not as like right now it doesn't look as bright and vibrant. Maybe once it gets under the black lights of this, of the build, like in the building, it'll look different. But yeah, so we're really excited about that. I'm real excited.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool.
And I'm excited we were able to spy it from the from the monorail.
So I picked up my charcuterie pizza from Alien Pizza Planet, which I thought was very, very good. And I met Teresa over at Rancho Zocalo.
Yeah, because I really wanted to try the chili verde, which was a pork and spicy tomatillo sauce with Mexican rice and reed 5 beans. It was spicy, but it was delicious. Messy also, but delicious. And very large portion. I was not able to finish the whole thing myself. And unfortunately, it was too spicy for Tag, so he was not able to help me finish it all either. But my favorite, I'm going to use this term loosely, seasonal horchata seasonal cold brew is the horchata cold brew that has been there, I want to say, close to the entire year now. So I'm hoping that means it's no longer, it's on the seasonal menu, but I'm hoping that means it's going to become a permanent resident because I think it's my favorite. Ooh, I don't know. The black cap's really good too. Between that and the black cap, those are my two top.
You haven't even had a black
brews.
cap this trip.
I haven't. Because there's just so many cold brews, so little time. Tag.
So after that, we went over and rode Haunted Mansion Holiday for our second time. And then
Big Thunder.
And Big Thunder, spoiler, you should sometimes not trust the Disneyland app because it said it was a 65-minute wait. We timed it. It was 30 minutes. Great as always. Teresa did not get to see her other spy thing she wanted to see.
I wanted to see if I could spy Big Hero 6 from Big Hero 6 Baymax. And I couldn't spy Baymax in the backstage area. So we might have to ride it at night and see if I can spy him at night.
Yeah. Well, that'll finish up for now. Hope that was kind of our trip report for this time.
Yeah, so our big plan for the evening is we have not caught Fantasmic yet. So Fantasmic is the last big thing on our checklist for this trip that we want to make sure we experience before flying back home to the very frozen Midwest
frozen
right
tundra.
now. Yes.
Gonna have to cut open a tauntaun to stay warm.
Something like that,
I thought they smelled bad on the outside. Yeah, so thank you guys. Obviously, as always, we wouldn't be able to do all of these visits and stuff without your support, so thank you for your support.
And thank you for listening.
And we did see a couple weekly tiers in the park, so it's always great to see you guys.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody we saw, especially the couple that I don't remember their name, but we caught them during the middle of our tour, and they were able to get a quick photo with us.
That was great.
And find one of our hidden pins that we hid in the park. So, well, until next time, guys, we're going to go and enjoy the park.
Looks like we're coming in for a landing, gang. But please stay listening until trivia comes to a stop. And then yous can walk to the nearest exit. Thanks for listening to the 8th wonder of the world, DLWeekly.
Well, welcome back to Trivia Land. What a journey through the parks. Can't wait to go again with y'all soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go through our questions for this week where we focused on Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue with a bit of holiday flair. First question in Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue. Many of the Child Detection Agency figures are refurbishments of what? You are both correct. Superstar limo celebrities.
I have a question. Why this attraction for this week?
Because why not?
Okay.
It's kind of been the theme of going through a bunch of attractions. Why not?
Okay.
Question number 2. When Randall gets beaten up by Boo, one of the patterns he changes into references another resort attraction. Which one? It is indeed the wallpaper pattern from the Haunted Mansion.
That.
Well done, Tim.
I didn't know that was going to be right, but
he does go. He is purple at one point.
He goes through a ton of wallpapers. Our third question: how many doors fly through the vault where Boo and company are trying to escape? Your answers were like 17 and 25. I was looking for 236.
Oh, really?
A lot of doors. Unless I fat-fingered something.
Wait, what was it?
236.
What?
We'll double-check myself on that one a little bit later. But anyway.
I mean, I guess there's quite a few in this.
There are a ton.
Yeah.
And it is a big room.
It is a big room. All right, our fourth question, our last one about this attraction from Jill M. in the attraction's last scene with Boo. What is clipped onto her? It's a black bulldog clip.
Huh.
Black bulldog.
I am not sure what it references, but it's there.
Interesting.
Yes, so very exciting. And then our final question, the bonus round to wrap up the holiday season. 3 questions about the Main Street Christmas tree. How tall is it? How many lights are on it? And how many ornaments are on it? The tree stands 60 feet tall, 10 feet taller than its counterpart across the Esplanade.
Dang.
There are 70,000 lights on it.
70,000.
Yeah, a lot of twinkling lights there.
We are way off.
Yeah, we are.
And 2,000 ornaments.
Yeah!
Someone
Look at
remembered
you.
one of the answers.
70,000. Wow.
I know. They've really upped their game with the twinkling
Well, at least
lights.
I was 7 feet off on the height. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for that.
That was pretty close. It's a lot of tree to cover when you think about
That is a
60
lot.
feet tall and just how wide that gets at the base.
Well, and it's like solid. It's not like a light here, light here, light there. It's covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are you counting the light bulbs on the Disneyland tree that you know the right answers to these questions? Maybe you got ideas for producer Vern and I to start out the new year. Just send us an email. Our email is trivia@dlweekly.net.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
So until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.